Alright, so this week we're going to pick up where we left off, which is with solving inequalities. Okay, last week we solved one step. Today we're going to look at multi-step. Okay, so how did we remember the steps with equations? Does anyone remember the word? It was 3 letters. 3 steps. It started with an S.
Subtraction.
Yeah.
The little trick that we use, the little acronym that we use.
Oh, was it?
S.
I.
A.
P.
SAT.
South.
SAT.
Oh, what? SAT.
SAR.
Sam.
Sam.
I knew that.
What did the S stand for?
Simplify.
Simplify.
Addition, multiplication.
Addition.
Multiplication.
Or subtraction. I'm just going to abbreviate. Multiplication or division. Now, under the simplify step, there's 2 things.
There's 2 things you can do.
What are the 2 things you have to do? And one of them I know Mr. Roy said earlier.
I think we had both. We had both in the warm-up.
We did both. Anyone remember what do you have to do under simplify?
We didn't have both in the same problem. We had one of them in each. You could do this, or you could do this, or both.
First one has to do with multiplying.
Oh,
Yeah?
the distributive property.
Yeah.
Distributive property.
Simplify.
And then after you do distributive property, what do you have to do if you have multiple of the same thing on the same side?
Like combined like terms.
Combine like terms. So under simplify, that's the 2 things. And Mr. Roy went over them both in the warm-up. What do you do if you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative? Something has to happen when you divide or multiply by a negative. Joe?
The sign switches. Or
Yeah.
the inequality.
The inequality. So flip the inequality. Okay, so those rules are still the same. Exactly the same as what we did last week. Even though it's multi-step, you still flip the inequality if you multiply or divide by a negative. Okay? Right, so for the rest of the problems, that's pretty much it for notes. You guys already know from solving equations the steps, the SAM. So we'll practice that on this problem. Yep, SAM. So always follow SAM.
Yeah, guys, we'll solve these exactly the same way we did. Like Mr. Hager just said, exactly the same way we did equations. Same steps, all that stuff is exactly the
You
same.
don't want to follow Sam.
All right, so is there any distributive property in this problem? No, there's no parentheses. Is there any like terms on the same side of the inequality? No. So now we go right into the second step, which is addition or subtraction. Is there any addition or subtraction we need to do here? Yes, Savannah?
You have to add 4 to both sides.
Perfect. I'm going to add 4 on the left-hand side. Xander, what's that going to leave you with on the left side? X?
12. I mean 2B.
2b. What about the right?
Greater than or equal to.
No.
They're right.
Oh, 12.
12. And now he said greater than or equal to. Should he flip the sign or should it be what he just said?
Be what you just said.
It's exactly what he just said.
Divide or multiply. And when 2 negatives.
Okay, how about Fred? What's my last step? Perfect. Divide by 2. Now before I forget, I'm going to put the sign down. Should I flip it?
No.
Why? What did I just divide by?
Positive.
Positive, that's the key. Don't flip it. What's on the left-hand side now?
V.
V. What's on the right?
24.
6.
Not times 2.
24.
Divide by 2.
I think Joe's okay.
I think you might be super.
Joe, how many fingers? What?
Alright, so
How many fingers am I?
guys, any questions on how we got V by itself?
Oh.
No, because it cancels out.
Hey guys, you can use the graph on the right hand side.
come on.
Graph.
Let me
Question?
this.
No. Alright, number line.
46.
Okay, so we have to go to -6, so let's just label
6.
our positive 6.
I was like, negative? Did I do this wrong? Listen, Joe was close. It's 24.
Will, yeah, what's the first thing you gotta do?
You got a closer.
Yeah, how do you know it's closed?
Because there's more under it.
Right, if you've got the line under it, you gotta fill it in.
Noise.
Closed circle.
The crocodile.
Now,
just
Noah, can you please be quiet? Thanks. Which way are we gonna shade? Yeah, go ahead, Sydney. Yeah, because the variable is on the left, that's the way we want to have it. Letter, symbol, number, and then it tells you which way to shade. Again, if you shade right on the line, that's fine. If you shade above the line, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that's a multi-step problem. That one had 2 steps. No distributive, no combined like terms in that one. Questions on that one? All right. What does this problem have that the last one didn't? Yes, Josiah? It's got parentheses, and how are we going to deal with that? What property do we need to use? Yep, Savannah? We're going to have to distribute. That's first step, distribute out there. When we're distributing the 3, does that affect the 15?
No.
No. So Mackenzie, when I distribute, what do I get with 3 times 2? Yep, 6. Okay. And then copy down your sign, minus. Mallory, what's 3 times x?
3x.
3x.
There you go.
Now from here, it's just like the last problem. We've got a term with a letter, and a term without a letter, and then another term that's just a number. It's exactly what we have here. The only difference is the x is on the right. So at the end, we'll have to fix that. What would I do now? Yeah. I would leave the 15 where it is because we want to get everything away from the x. So we want to do something with the 6. Yeah, that's what I would do, minus 6. Because now you just moved something away from the x, okay? What's 15 minus 6? Sophia?
9.
9 is greater than or equal to negative 3x. How about Madison? What's my last step?
You're going to divide by negative 3 on both sides.
Yes. Did everyone hear what she just said? Divide by
Negative 3.
negative. So right away,
Oh, sign flips. Oh.
yep, right away I'm going to flip that sign. If we want to deal with the letter on the other side, we can deal with that after. Okay, but we flip the sign. What's 9 divided by negative 3?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Now, do we normally put the letter on the right?
No.
Where do we normally put it?
On the left.
Let's put it on the left. Where would the negative 3 go?
On the right.
That's going to go on the right. Look at it up above. What is the inequality pointing at?
The negative 3.
It's pointing at the negative 3. When you rewrite it, it still has to point at the negative 3. Okay? So this idea that we just flipped the inequality here has nothing to do with dividing by a negative. It has to do because we wanted the letter on the left. That's what we wanted. Okay? Now it tells us which way to shade. Connor, what kind of circle on negative 3? Open or closed? Closed. How do you know? Not because it's negative. You could have an open or a closed circle with a negative or positive.
Connor, what do you look at to tell you how to what do you look at to tell you what kind of circle to use? What should you look at in the problem? The sign, right? So how do you know it's closed? Oh, I know, and for you, I know you think that's like a little negative sign, right? I think that's what you meant originally. It's all right. All right? So a little line underneath means you're gonna put a closer.
And then which way do I shade?
Careful.
Sophia? Yeah, I'm going to shade to the right. All right, so shade. Right. Okay, so that's a problem That's a problem that had how many steps, Xander?
3. Me or him?
You.
Me.
X.
2. 3. No, 1. What is it called? Well,
1, 2, or 3?
well. 3.
It had 3. Step 1. Step 1 was distribute. Step 2, you had to move the 6 over. Step 3 was to divide by the -3. I don't count flipping it around as another step. You don't have to do that, that's up to you.
So you want to do this one?
You want to do the next one?
The noise is killing me.
Okay, what do we have to do here? Okay. Yep, Jenny. Let's see. Do we have the same terms on the same side? No, we don't have anything on the same side, but we can move stuff from side to side. X. What can I do to move stuff from side to side?
Can't you -2x?
Mm-hmm.
On both sides of the 6?
That's a good idea. What does that leave you with?
-4.
Positive 4.
X.
Yep, what else? Give me the whole thing.
-5 is less than +11.
Yep.
Now guys, in that first step, what else could we have done with the variables?
You could have done it the opposite way.
Okay. What do you mean, John?
You could have subtracted 6x from the
I could have subtracted 6x. Why would it be a better option to subtract the 2, John?
because then it'd leave it with a positive number.
Good, right? When we're moving it, right, move the one that's worth a lesser amount. Let's move the smaller one, right? When we're doing that, make sure you look at the sign too, right? Because that's a, it's a +2, +6. +2 is less than +6x. That's all you could, if you want to deal with negatives, or you could have subtracted 6x, we would have just got a negative. We would have been dealing with that, that's all. You're not wrong, it just makes it a little more difficult.
Paige, what would you do next?
Practical side.
Add 5. And if you look at what's happening, the way Leander told us to do it, the x is already on the left. That's always a good thing. They're not only positive, but they are on the left. How about Xander with Z? What's on the right-hand side now? Yep, 16. And how about Nathan? What's my last step?
Your last step is to divide 4 on both sides.
Yep, divide both sides by 4. Now he said 4. Should I flip the sign?
No.
If I need to, I'm going to write it right now.
No.
No, I don't need to flip it because I divided by a positive. It doesn't even matter what. It's just a positive something. What's 16 divided by 4? Yeah? 4. Okay, so now I'm just going to scroll up and see. Did it say graph? Nope. Just solve. You didn't have to graph it. Okay. If you were going to graph it, which way would you shade?
The left.
Left? What kind of circle?
Open.
Open. Nice. Alright, so Mr. Roy is going to take you through example 4 and 5. And let me do one more and then you good?
Alright, so this one. Sydney, what's the first thing I can do in this one? What are your like terms? Now, remember, someone told me earlier that when we're combining like terms, they have to be on the same side of the sign. What kind of a 4W is that? Positive or negative? Negative, right? So I'm going to circle it with the sign. So I got a 9W and I got a -4W. So when you combine those two things, Sydney, what do you get?
Is it 5?
5. Good. I'm going to get 5W. Everything else I didn't do anything with, so what can I do?
Bring it down.
Just bring it down. Nothing else happens with it. Okay, the trainer down. All right, 5W plus 6. All right, Now it kind of looks like what I did in the last example, where I have variables on both sides. All right? Mr. Fairbanks, do you think you know what you can do here? Right. Huh? We could move the number first. That's fine. So -6. We can do that. Where am I minusing 6 from? 1. I can't. How come I can't minus it from 5W, Fred? Yeah, not the same thing. So minus that. Everything else will just come down. 5W. Now 1. This is why we do the warm up on the basic arithmetic review on Mondays. 1 minus 6 is what? Joe?
Isn't it a -5?
-5, right? 6 is bigger than 1. Take the sign of the bigger number. All right? -5 plus 5W. All right? Now, at this point, I only have one choice as to what I can move. All right? Sophia?
Are you going to subtract 5W?
Which one? The one on the left or the one on the right?
The one on the right.
Yeah, because at this point, I'm going to get this -5 by itself. So I'm going to go -5W. I'll subtract -5W.
They both cancel out.
So this would be this 0, right? We're going to have something over here, so I'm going to put 0. I'm not going to put a W because if you have $5 and you spend $5 and take $5 away, you're not going to have anything left. You have 0. Now, Mallory, can you read to me what that says?
0 is greater than or equal to -5.
Is that a true statement?
No.
0 is greater than -5.
There's no solution. So what if he's 0?
0, well,
Yeah, you can put the W in.
I don't need to because it cancels out.
Oh, it is true.
Right, Mallory, you thought about it a little bit more, right?
Yeah, it is true.
Right? Because on the number line, right, you have more value to numbers that are on the right. The more left you go, the less value you have. So if we looked at it, like this, -5 would be over here, 0 would be here. More to the left, something that's -5 is more to the left than 0, so it's worth a lesser amount. The numbers that are more to the right have greater value. So is 0 greater than or equal to -5?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That is a true statement, right? That is a true statement. So 0 is greater than -5. Just like when we did equations, when we have a true statement, what does that mean?
It's true.
How many solutions do we have?
One.
Right? Infinite. We have an infinite, right? Infinite, you might see on the test. Infinitely many. So when it's a true statement, you probably see a choice like this on the test. Infinitely many. All right? Infinitely man. Infinitely many. All right? So how do someone tell me, I just said it. How do you know when it's an infinite number of solutions? How do you know? What does the statement have to be?
0.
Does it have to be 0? I could have the number 1 there. Still would have made it a true statement. I could have -5 there. Still would have been a true statement.
Greater than or equal to something?
It's got to be a true statement. So whatever number's here, all right, doesn't matter. You could have 1 here. Doesn't matter. As long as when you read this, because now the variable is getting canceled out. So when the variable gets canceled out, whatever 2 numbers you have left, if the sign that's there makes it a true statement, it's infinitely many. So if you want to write this down, you can. But when the variable's gone, all right, whatever you have left for numbers in the sign, if it's a true statement, when you read it and say, okay, yeah, 0 is greater than or equal to -5. Yes, that is true. That works. So you can plug in any number, all right, for W, and you get a solution that will work. That's what that means. So infinitely many has to be a true statement. If it's not true, then we'll talk about that in a second.
Hey, I switched up now. So I'm going to do one and then can you do the last one? Huh?
Is there an example 5?
There is. We're going to do example 5 as the last one. Okay, we're going to do example 6. We're going to skip to example 6 where you got that little
Do you
table.
have anything to?
There's cat hair on the ground.
Okay, so this problem says you need to have a mean score. What is another word for mean?
Mean.
Yep.
Average.
Average. Okay, and there's one like this on the test on Friday. Okay, so what do you have to do to average something? What's usually 2 steps involved? Will?
You can do max minus min.
That's range.
Oh yeah. Oh, you have to add all of them up and then count the numbers.
This was like first grade.
Hey,
I don't remember this.
So you add up however many things you have, and then divide by that number.
to him. Hey,
I didn't say
I paid my
Okay, X, you're gonna help me out. How do I do this? X, how do I do this? I figure if you're talking, you must know. You don't need me. You need to score, you need to have at least 90 points to advance to the next round.
Yes.
So you're jotting down 90 points.
Any thoughts on how you would figure that out?
You add all the
You put 90 right there.
You want to have someone help you out?
You know,
Can I phone a friend, please?
phone me.
So Joe, what are you thinking? We
You
have
would
to.
add everything together.
I pick one.
You would add the score all together and then all the scores together and then you would divide it by 5.
All right. What can we call this score for now? We just have a question mark, but we need to
Call it 90.
X.
let's call it X because it's a variable. We don't know what it's going to be.
X minus.
Okay.
X, X, X.
Let's call it X. So now, Joe, how did you say to average all these scores?
You add them all together and
Okay.
divide it by 4.
Let me write that out. Add them all together. So there you go. I've added them all together. And what do I want to do with that?
Divide it by 5.
Exactly. I want to divide it by 5.
Remember guys, this is example 6.
70.4.
Now, what is this going to give me? This is the mean, right? It's the average. What do they tell me they want that average to be? What's the condition?
90
Not 90.
at least.
What does at least mean?
Oh, 90 or 90 equal or greater.
Right.
90 or above. No.
90,
Yeah.
90 or above.
Complicated.
Greater than or equal to 90. So, greater than or equal to 90. Now, Joe, you added up 95. Do you know what all those 4 add up to? 95, 91, 77, 89?
352.
352.
Yes, which is.
Careful, careful. You don't want to divide by 5 yet. Anytime we have a fraction, what do we always do to get rid of the fraction first?
Get the X by
Add another fraction.
We're going to get x by itself, but how do you get rid of a fraction? Like if you had this,
You would multiply.
you always multiply, right?
Yeah, so it'd be.
What do you multiply by?
Wouldn't it be, you multiply 5 from each side?
Yep.
It's 5 to the lump, so it's gonna flip it.
Oh my god. It's like first grade all over again.
What's on the left-hand side now that I multiplied by 5?
X.
X plus,
X plus
5.
no, the 5s I tried to cross those out. Those are gone.
352.
352.
So plus.
What else?
Whatever
Huh?
90 divided
Would it
by
be
5.
450?
Yep, 90 times 5 is 450. So now X is the score I need to get on the last round of the trivia. So how do I get X by itself? Yep.
2 minus 352 on both sides.
All right, and can anybody tell me what that comes out to?
102. Right? 98.
Careful, the other way.
What's 102?
If you're minusing
98.
352.
98.
98.
Yeah.
Even I get without the
Yeah,
So-
98.
What does that mean? What do we need to get for a score in the 5th round?
90 or above, so we got it.
No, we didn't. You
That's
had to get,
90
you had to get a 98.
That average has to be 90 or above. So what score do we have to get?
98.
98 or above, okay, in the 5th round. So anything 98 or
Below. Oh, above, sorry.
higher,
Greater than.
okay?
Holy.
So you'll see a problem like that in the homework. There's also one like that on the
So we have the answer.
test.
We always have homework.
Oh, we just did example 6 and I wanted to read.
Yes,
You said that at the beginning.
because I wanted to go through that one first.
I don't know, you were listening very carefully as usual.
Do you think I pay attention to every little thing he says?
No.
Alright, let's do this one.
That's problem.
On this one, what do I have on both sides? Someone raise their hand and tell me. Sydney? Distributed property, how do you know? Yeah, parentheses, right? What operation do I use for distributed property again? Multiplication. Well, I distribute on this side, Sydney, what am I gonna get?
12x minus 4.
Excellent. Sign stays. Alright, on the other side, when I distribute, Ginny, on the other side, do you think you know what I'll get on the other side when I distribute this to this and this to this?
I have the answer.
12x, excellent, I like that. So I did 3 times 4x, I got 12x. What's the second thing gonna be? Savannah?
Negative 24.
Negative 24, good.
So it's infinite.
So they're both the same.
Yeah, so you really don't, if you wanted to go further, you could.
It's infinite.
Alright, let's see what happens. It might not be infinite, let's do it. Connor, do you think you know what we can do next? We want to add or subtract. It's positive now, so what do you want to do? It's positive now. Subtract. So minus 12x. Connor, what else do you minus 12x?
Under the 24.
From the 24, they're not the same.
Sure.
You want to add the right thing to your recipe, right? So minus 12x here. What's going to happen to both things?
Cancel.
This will cancel, this will cancel.
Yeah.
So I'm left with negative 24 greater than negative 24.
I didn't even know that's my answer.
Listen, what does that say? Negative 24 greater than negative 24. Yes or no?
Wait,
No.
Negative 24 is greater than negative 24.
No, there should be a line under there.
Is that a true statement?
No.
No.
So it's
Well,
another
It's
solution.
equal to.
It's equal to, we can't put an equal to, we gotta go with the sign that's there. So
yeah.
if there was a line underneath, yes, but we don't have that. Negative 24 greater than negative 24. What's that mean? It's a false statement, so no.
Oh, so
You could do this, or you could do this.
24. Negative 24.
So how do we know when it's infinitely many? Someone tell me by raising their hand. Don't shout it out. Someone tell me by raising their hand.
Wait, what was
How do I know when it's infinitely many solutions? Joe.
When the statement makes sense.
Yeah, when it's true, right? If this said like negative 22 is greater than negative 24, yes, that's a true statement. So however it reads, if it's true, or like Joe says, if it makes sense, yes, infinitely many. How do I know when it's no solution? Someone tell me by raising their hand. Somebody besides Joe. How do I know when it's no solution? Has to be a true statement for it to be infinitely many. How do I know when it's no solution? Is that right? It's false, right? When you read it like that doesn't make, if it makes no sense, like this does, makes no sense, it's no solution. So we have one today that we have one that had infinitely many, we have one that had no solution. Alright, so if it's false, it means there's no solution. Alright? Everybody have this? Alright. Now, homework, I think it's only 7 problems. Alright? Last week of academics for you guys this week, the first quarter. Right? Your last academic day of first quarter is on Friday. Do not pack up. Your last academic day of first quarter is on Friday. Now the test is going to be a little bit different this week. Alright? You'll get the reference sheet on Wednesday night to do for homework. Alright? First half of class on Thursday, we will review. We'll do some review problems. If you need to go with a reference sheet, we can do that. Second half of class on Thursday, we'll start the test. Reason being is, on Friday, we'll finish the test. We're not going to have the whole double period on Friday to be able to work on the test. At 1:20, they're going to start dismissing you guys to go out to the football field for the rally. Right? Spring, fall sports rally.
What's that?
The cafeteria is.
All the fall sports get honored. Yes.
The cafeteria is open though, so you don't want to.
Food hall.
I think they're doing that again, John. I'll let you know when it goes on. So guys, understand. Guys, listen. This week is different, like I said. We'll start the test on Friday and Thursday during the second half of class. So period 8 on Thursday, we'll start the test at around 1:15 after our review. You'll work on it. If you finish during that time, great. You don't have to worry about doing anything on Friday. Just making sure you're quiet while other people finish. All right? If you don't finish, just understand you'll still have time on Friday to finish.